Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ify, and thanks to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. In the last video that I uploaded, I made a detailed explanation of how you can come into Canada through the express entry route under the Federal Skilled Workers Program. And with that video, I believe that you can do everything yourself without the use of an agent. Okay, if you've not watched the video, this is the video right here. You can go and watch it so that you know the process of how you can come to Canada as a permanent resident with do-it-yourself method. You don't need to use anybody to be able to do that. So that video brought lots of questions under my comment section, and some people also DM me if it is possible to get a refuser when you are applying for permanent resident. And I will say a capital letter yes, it is very possible to get a refuser, but it's very rare. Why I said rare is that if you submit the things that IRCC requires of you, there is no reason for any refusal to happen except you did not submit the right document and some of the things that I will be listing in this video. So in this video, I'm going to be listing or explaining top 5 reasons what can lead to refusal of your permanent resident application. Number 5 is very important, so I will recommend for you to watch to the end so that you will not fall into that mess. Let's go, guys. Before I start, this is just a disclaimer. I'm not a licensed immigration consultant, neither am I a lawyer. What I'm about to share with you guys is the experience from other people that I know, as well as the research that I've carried out. So with no further ado, let's get started. Number 1 reason that can make your permanent resident application to be refused is fraud or misrepresentation. Now, I'm not going to explain so deeply about the fraud type because, as the name implies, is already self-explanatory. So for the misrepresentation can come in so many ways. Now, if you're applying for permanent residency, IRCC expects you to declare everything about you. For example, if you've applied for a visa in other countries before, or even in Canada, and you were refused, they expect you to declare that visa refusal in your application. If you do not declare that visa refusal, it's termed misrepresentation, which can lead to refusal of your application. The second reason that might be a misrepresentation is if, for example, you've previously used an agent that submitted your documents and then you decided to do the application yourself. Know that IRCC, they have a database, so they already know, or they already have the document that your agents submitted for you. So they expect you to submit that exact document. Everything should align with what they submitted. If your agent says you've been to 10 countries, different countries before, or 3 different countries before, they expect you to still state that same figure. Like everything, all the data that your agents have used in your previous application, you should use that same data. If you use a data different from what your previous agent used, is termed misrepresentation, which can lead to refusal. And this is one of the major reasons I always encourage you guys to do your application yourself, so that you know the type of document you are submitting. Just in case there is a refusal, you know what you've submitted before and what you intend to submit again. So these are 2 major reasons why your application can be misrepresented, and then it will lead to refusal. Let's go to the next point. Number 2 reason that can lead to your PR refusal is uploading the wrong or expired document. Now, when you're uploading your document, IRCC gave some places like a space where you're going to upload your document. If you upload the medical report in place of where police clearance is, that it will lead to a refusal. So I always recommend that when you want to start uploading, ensure you label your document, like put the name there. If it is police clearance, after scanning, put it as a heading, police clearance. If it is a medical report, after scanning, put it as a heading, medical report. You do this so that you will not upload one document in place of the other. IRCC will not just like give you a chance to redo your wrong. No, they will just refuse your application, and then you have to start reapplying again. Then for the expired document, it can be in terms of your test language results, which is your IELTS or your TEF Canada if you took French. Now, if you got an invitation to apply and maybe your test result is expiring like in 1 week, ensure that you submit your document before your test result expires. Why? Immediately you upload or submit your application, your account is locked. So whether the test result expires while you've already submitted, it doesn't matter. It matters if you allow your test results to expire before you submit your application. Once you get your ITA, which is invitation to apply, IRCC gives 60 days for you to upload and submit your application. However, if you discover that your result is expiring in 1 week or in 2 weeks time, ensure you submit it before that result expires. Once you submit your application, it doesn't matter anymore. Your account is locked. So whether it expires before IRCC review it, it doesn't matter anymore. So upload it. It can be even your police clearance. Maybe you've done police clearance already and you got your invitation late, and your police clearance is saying that police clearance in Nigeria, I think it stays for just 3 months. And if you have like few days for that police clearance to expire, ensure you upload and submit your application before the police clearance expires as well. So this is number 2 reason why your application can be refused. Number 3 reason why your application can be refused is if you submit or select the wrong tier for your job or the wrong code. I always tell you guys that before you select any code, ensure you check the job description or the job duties in IRCC website. Sometimes the title that you select in Canada website might not be the same title you bear back home, and the job responsibilities under the title you bear back home might be different from the job responsibilities in Canada website. So whether the NOC code or the job title is the same thing with the one you have in Canada website, if the responsibilities in Canada website is not the same with the responsibilities that you normally carry on, please do not select that job NOC code. That is why whatever you're doing, whatever job title you're selecting or whatever NOC code you're selecting, ensure you check the job responsibilities or the job duties in Canada website before you choose that wrong code. And remember that when you are submitting your application, you will need a reference letter from your employer, and in that reference letter it states the responsibilities that you've carried out. And that brings about my 4th point why your application can be refused, which is your reference letter. Now, IRCC, when you go to IRCC website, it states the kind of reference letter that they want. They recommend you writing your reference letter on letterheaded paper, meaning your company's letterheaded paper should be used. Or if you are not using letterheaded paper, you can allow your manager or your HR or whoever that is in charge to use their official email when they are writing that reference letter for you. But I always recommend to use letterheaded paper. That is what I use. It's easier to prove that that your reference letter is a genuine one when you use the letter headed paper. So the number 4 reason is using the wrong letter, or using a reference letter that IRCC does not recommend. Always check Canada website. I'll put a screen record or a screenshot on the screen to see the requirement that IRCC wants for the reference letter. Let's go to the number 5 point. The last one is your proof of fund. This one is like a silly mistake that so many people do. Now, if you are submitting your proof of fund, which is because the bank will normally give you a letter to show the amount in your account. Now, because of the exchange rate, people tend to submit the exact figure that is in Canada website. I always do not recommend that. It is better to put a little money above what is in Canada website because of the exchange rate. Though some banks will write in the reference letter that this is the exchange rate that they use in calculating, but then I've seen some people that they still got refused because the proof of fund is low. Now, this is not their fault, it's just the fault of the exchange rate that keeps on fluctuating. So what I recommend you guys to always do is, if the proof of fund for what is in Canada website says 20,000, for example, for a family of 3, I recommend you always put it like 21,000 in your bank account, just because of the exchange rate. It keeps fluctuating. So if your proof of fund is below what IRCC recommends or wants, your visa application or your permanent resident application will be refused. So guys, these are the 5 top reasons why your application can be refused. Now the question is, what can you do if your application is refused? I have 2 suggestions. One is either you reapply. You can only reapply if the refusal does not lead to 5 years ban, which might be a misrepresentation. Maybe you have misrepresented and the misrepresentation is just too obvious that you did it deliberately. Canada might not give you a second chance. They will just give 5 years ban. And the second thing you can do is to ask for reconsideration. If your application is refused due to just a minor error, you can send a web form or you can ask for a reconsideration. But I'll just prefer you to reapply, especially if the draw is back to back. Maybe the next week you might get that invitation to apply again, because reconsideration might take a longer time for them to reconsider you. So this is it, guys. This is everything you need to know why your application may be refused. If this video was useful to you, please give it a thumbs up and do not forget to hit the subscribe button. See you in my next video.